11 amazing, famous circus freaks. Number 11. Simon Metz, Schlitzie. Though his true identity is not definitively known, the most accepted opinion is that Schlitzie was originally born Simon Metz in the Bronx, New York. Unlike William Johnson, there is no debate that Schlitzie suffered from microcephaly. He was only 4 feet tall, had an extremely small, pointy head, and was about as cognitive as a toddler. The man, who was often presented as a woman in shows, had an indomitable spirit that won over audiences and makes him a sympathetic and well-known figure to this day. The popular TV show American Horror Story features Pepper, a character that is based on Schlitzie. Number 10. Frank Cannonball Richards. Homer Simpson would surely count Frank Richards as an icon and an inspiration. Frank noticed that his stomach seemed to be impervious to pain after letting friends punch him in the gut over and over. Feeling no pain, he decided to step his game up and profit from his amazing gut by letting the then heavyweight champion of the world, Jack Dempsey, punch him in the gut. Still feeling nothing, he moved on to letting people jump on his belly or whacking his iron-like gut with a 2x4 or a sledgehammer. Still able to absorb the abuse, he finally allowed himself to be struck by a cannonball shot from a spring-loaded 12-foot cannon. He would only do this twice a day because doing it any more often was too painful, which is funny considering the fact that most normal people would have been long dead by this point. Number 9. Fodor Chu. Fodor was born in St. Petersburg, Russia, sometime in 1868. Like his father Adrian, Chu was afflicted with hypertrichosis, an abnormal growth of hair covering the face and body. The condition also left him with few teeth. He began touring in sideshows in 1873 and would eventually go across the sea to America and start working with the now famous P.T. Barnum and his cast of sideshow freaks, earning a comfortable living as Jojo the dog-faced boy for the rest of his life until he passed away on tour in Greece of pneumonia in 1904. Number 8. William Johnson, Zip the Pinhead. Pinheads are people born with a neurological disorder that is characterized by having a small head. It is a condition called microcephaly that is also often associated with mental disorders. William Johnson did have a small head in relation to his body, but showed signs of intelligence throughout his long and successful life, which leads people to wonder whether or not he actually suffered from the malady. Either way, fame and fortune were a constant presence in his life as Zip the Pinhead. He passed away in 1926, and his funeral was something of a show in and of itself, as it was attended by many other circus freaks of the time. Number 7. Arnold Pinsky, Mirren Dejo, the Invulnerable Man. Arnold Pinsky was born in Rotterdam in 1912 and headed a design firm until the age of 33, when he claimed to realize that his body was invulnerable. Consequently, he left his design firm and went into business for himself, performing human pincushion acts under the pseudonym Mirren Dejo that confounded spectators and medical professionals alike. In 1948, he claimed that voices told him to swallow a steel needle and then have it surgically removed. He did so, but died a few days later from an aortic rupture that was probably caused by complications from the surgery. Number 6. Chang and Eng Bunker. Should this take up 2 spots on the list or 1? Chang and Eng Bunker were born conjoined in 1811, and they are the origin of the term Siamese twins. They began touring the world as a curiosity act in 1829. Doing well for themselves, they eventually settled down on a plantation in North Carolina and married sisters with which they had a total of 21 children. One morning in 1874, Eng woke up to find Cheng had died in his sleep. A doctor was summoned to try to perform an emergency separation to save Eng's life, but it did not work and Eng also passed away. Number 5. Prince Randian, the Living Torso. The child of British Indian slaves, Prince Randian was born in 1871 without arms or legs. P.T. Barnum discovered him and brought him to the United States in 1889 when he began his career performing sideshows. He had a remarkable ability to make things work despite his severe handicap. He was able to shave, write, and as can be seen in the movie Freaks, roll a cigarette. Randian died of a heart attack shortly after his last performance on December 19, 1934. Number 4. Minnie Woolsey, Cuckoo the Bird Girl. Minnie was born with what is believed to be a condition known as bird-headed dwarfism. She spent many years in a Georgia asylum before joining circus shows. Eventually, she landed a role in the popular 1932 film Freaks, which propelled her to fame. Her act as Cuckoo the Bird Girl involved her dressed in a feathery costume, dancing around animatedly, and talking in thrilled gibberish to the audience. Little is known about the later part of Minnie's life. Some accounts say that she performed into her 80s, and it is also said that she was hit by a car sometime in the 1960s. Number 3. Bill Dirks, the man with 3 eyes. Bill Dirks did not actually have 3 eyes. Ironically, he only had one working eye. He was blind in his right eye and painted his third eye as a part of the show. He was born with a condition that is today known as frontonasal dysplasia. His face failed to come completely together, and he had a deep cleft lip, open palate, and a split nose. The early part of Bill's life is fairly depressing. He was not able to go to school, and his family was ashamed of him due to his shocking appearance. Luckily, while working in a circus show, he ran into Melvin, the anatomical wonder, Burkhart, who would go on to become Bill's close friend and who would look out for his best interests. Bill passed away on May 7, 1975. Number 2. Grady Stiles Jr., the Lobster Boy. Stiles' family had been afflicted for generations with ectrodactyly, or lobster claw syndrome. Grady was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on July 18, 1937, and suffered from a severe form of the syndrome. He was recruited by his family to be a part of their act at an early age. He married twice and had 4 children, 2 of which were also born with electrodactyly. The clan would sometimes tour together as the Lobster family. Grady was also a drunk who would abuse his family, and one night in 1978, he murdered his oldest daughter's fiancé, shooting him with a shotgun. Using his condition to his advantage, Grady was able to avoid imprisonment and actually remarried his first wife. Instantly regretting the decision, his first wife decided to hire an assassin, who murdered Grady on November 29, 1993.
And now for number 1. But first, be sure to subscribe for new videos every day.
Number 1. Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. Like so many people with severe visual deformities, a lot of Joseph Merrick's life is a sad story. Born in Leicester, England on August 5, 1862, Merrick was by all accounts a perfectly healthy toddler until the age of 5, when he began to develop patches of lumpy gray skin. By 17, he was unable to work due to his physical deformities, and his father beat him for not making money. Forced out on his own, Merrick eventually decided to take advantage of his appearance and started working as an act in freak shows, calling himself the Elephant Man. He found success in this arena for a while, until his manager abandoned him and robbed him of his savings. By this point, Merrick was physically in bad shape and had nowhere to go. He was helped by the London Hospital, which reached out for public funds on his behalf. Enough was donated so that Merrick was able to stay in the hospital and live in comfort until he passed away at the age of 27.